not going to have our faces anymore, and we're going to make it straight into draft, and we're going to be opening up this event with an Akali Darius ban for the side of Team Futbolist, and for the right side for Team Trova Nova, it's going to be an Aurelion Sol ban, which he is top tier in the mid lane, very impactful in so many ways based on his damage and also his zoning, and his early game rotation potential is absolutely through the roof. So far, no big surprises in terms of bans, but also Darius got himself a little bit of a buff in patch 2.1a. So he's going to be a lot more predominant in that top lane position, which is why I understand Futbolist decided to ban him away.
Yeah, we do obviously start with, including in the mid lane, going with Orianna ban as well. Orianna is still that top tier pick. Yes, you had the nerf to Liandry's, but she still is just as strong as ever, Maxman, in terms of the core ability she can put out. Still, if you have Liandry's Rabon's Death Camp combo, you start to see a one-shot the front line, one-shot that back line, even as those balls zoom in to those AD carries. But, of course, on the other hand, you talked about that Darius being one of those picks banned away on the blue side, and in terms of Darius now being off the board with his increased slow, particularly able to grapple and keep enemies closer together for longer. That's going to be a core ban coming off, I think, as one of the top picks coming into the mid lane for 2.18.
Overall, so many big characters in mid lane are going to be taken off the board entirely. So there's not many picks remaining potentially for that position. Ari's going to be a good one. We've seen some good amount of success in Vietnam, noticeably with Annie, which also, if teams have been potentially watching what was happening in the Vietnamese scene, that could be a potential pickup. As third ban for Team Futbolist is then going to be a Brawl. I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit weird too. I literally just choked a few minutes ago on a piece of pizza. You could ask Highland. He was shocked.
It's true.
He was about to call the ambulance.
I have that effects on multiple casters now. But as we do see Olaf, no surprise to see Olaf as well banned away. Still, despite the nerfs to his AD, despite the nerfs to his defense kit, it's still going to be one of these top picks in the jungle alongside Shyvana. But I do want to see what this Corki can do as well here, Maxman, because the Corki is a pick that, for me, I'm still yet to be convinced in its power. I would not be surprised to see actually now going on to the red side for Trova Nova to actually see maybe how is Malphite going to be able to retreat from the fight if it doesn't work out? How is Varus realistically going to be able to survive that long extended team fight, particularly coming from the other side? We have to look at their picks, right? You've got a Lee Sin with the kit going to be able to displace teams right into the entire side of the enemies. You've got a Kai'Sa that can jump onto the back line as well, onto that Varus or Corki. And on top of that, you even have, as we talked about, the Gragas knock up into the Yasuo combo to not only displace, but also root in terms of that knock up from the Yasuo.
Okay, not gonna lie, as I said, I'm hyped, man. I'm super pumped. If this is the first time I'm seeing a Varus in competitive, which I gotta say, I am extremely happy to see that happen. And we're gonna be seeing exactly what's gonna happen. As there we go, big on dive early on coming out from Trova Nova, and they're gonna find himself instantly the first blood. And now is Corki out of commission. First blood, an extra 500 gold going their way. And now where they're gonna go, because they already picked up an early kill. They could fully commit to an invade and steal away some stuff, but good reaction though from Futbolist. Of course, they're going to go for counter invade towards the enemy blue and get that gold back in their pocket. So far, even though it is an early blood coming on through for Trova Nova, Futbolist have got a somewhat of a response.
You see Gragas going to push as best as they can that bot side, but it won't be to any avail, and they do get that blue buff free of contention as well. But in terms of the gold lead here, though, Maxman, it's still going to be that 800 to 900 gold league in favor of Trova Nova, and getting that pick off early on, and particularly onto the Kai'Sa, will not only have that good early game showing that we want, but it's also going to help Kai'Sa now lane in that 2 versus 2 matchup over in the top.
Big side lanes pushing on through, of course. That's going to be not too much of an issue. This is called cross-mapping, in case you guys are not too familiar, where if you are losing a turret on one side of the map, you're going to try and trade something of similar value or extra value, if possible, for your own team to try and avoid falling behind. So these are going to be towers, which early on are pretty easy to take down. And also they are worth quite a bit of gold, and you don't want to avoid, as much as possible a team picking up one tower entirely and you not being able to replicate that. So there you go, the tower gets picked up initially for Trova Nova. They're going to be up to a little bit of a gold lead. The tower drops down to in the bottom side, so it's going to get back to a somewhat even goal, but in terms of towers at least, because otherwise it is already a 1.5k gold advantage for Trovo Nova, because purely based also off that first blood, and seemed like just in terms of farming, they were able to be a lot quicker on their feet to react and get an early lead, which so far, gotta say, Futbolist, they are not looking the best, but it is okay. It's just been 2 minutes. We're not looking too bad whatsoever.
No, it won't be any too disastrous here for kills going to continue to go ahead either way. I think that is nice to see, actually, the respect coming from both teams. But more importantly here, Maxman, I do want to note that that first turret goal did go again over to Trovo Nova. So they will be able to extend that gold lead now up to 2k with that 1-for-1 turret trade going, of course, so back into the side of Futbolist. They still pick up some gold in the pockets themselves, although it is still that early game disadvantage.
So actually something we didn't really talk about too much, because you were talking about drafts, which one do you think is good, which one do you think is bad. Which draft do you think is maybe the strongest here in terms of late game? That's the one that interests me the most.
In terms of the late game, I would have to say Trovo Nova. In terms of their late game potential with the Kaiser and the team fight potential that comes out from their composition as a whole, I think that they do bring a lot of CC, although be it maybe not as direct and as straightforward as the side of Futbolist with their Malphite and Kennen. Of course, it can just dive on into the backline. It's going to be crucial, I think, really to see those stasis enchants come out from that Kaiser, from that Yasuo on the backline to dodge out the potential CC, maybe even build into tenacity debuts, as you see on the other side. Futbolist already enabling that with the Dr. Mundo.
Alistar going for the push into the bottom side, not going to be picking up any knockouts for the time being onto Futbolist. They've been rather respectful about this entire encounter, but the first Drake is going to be coming up in the next 20 seconds, so seem like Vision is going to be the point of pressure of the hour, especially Lee Sin going pretty deep, checking out if he can put some wards down. I believe he's got some available currently, and indeed he does refresh that. Go towards mid, potentially. I thought he was going to go something onto Rek'Na. I want to call Rek'Na Diwa all the time, but it's just because the best Corki right now is just easily Diwa. So I inherently just put them both together as they go. Great kick onto the Mundo. He's going to get instantly Yasuo altered onto, and he just can't do anything. Mundo is supposed to be tanky, but there, he doesn't show anything of that whatsoever, and that might just be an easy pickup for the Drake for Trovo Nova. But Malphite, not going to be able to do anything. Doesn't have a kit to steal, unfortunately, so that's going to be a big L on the forehead of Futbolist as they lose the very first Drake of that game.
Unfortunately, it does go over to the side of Trovo Nova for Futbolist, but that is crucial here for Trovo Nova, because if that movement speed, if that ulti cooldown had gone over to the Kennen and also the Malphite going into that level 5 mark, that would have been brutal to see team fight after team fight, even through that early stage. Them always have those dual ulti combos up for their side, Maxman, and having that also in terms of the movement speed for the Kaiser, for the backline Yasuo as well, it's actually going to have that retreat potential even stronger for the side of Trovo Nova's competition if that Malphite and that Kennen side to do jump in.
Now, of course, that's going to be something coming into action quite a bit, so we're looking into the mid lane. Reyes comes on through, picks up the knock onto Rek'Na, but Rek'Na is going to be, of course, Corki, so rather slippery, hard to lock him down properly, which is why I would have really liked, potentially, going into a Corki, because he did get initially picked up first. What does really good into a Corki mainly is a Camille. Camille does really good. Hectic Ultimatum. Well, no, not even Hectic Ultimatum. It's called the Hectic Ultimatum. And it is really easy to just find that lockdown, and even though Corki is rather slippery, to just stop him from peeling away and getting out of position. So I think that would have been a rather interesting pickup, but there's still so much CC engaged coming out from Trovo Nova. They can completely overlook the Camille. I think that's completely okay, because they just got so much engaged to bring to the table that it's hard for Rek'Na to, even though despite him being so slippery, he will have a hard time dealing with it.
And you see the Kennen in that boss side with the Yasuo. That enables and the ability for Trovo Nova to put that pressure on that top side, prepare with the Scuttle already up for that Rift Herald. But Kennen has now gone back to base. They're running back into the action, looking to try find that Rift Herald and have that dual ulti combo that we talked about their competition being completely based around. You see to jump in, but he just gets deleted. And now it might just be the second pick, and the ulti from the Malphite used defensively. Disaster for Futbolist is a use their ultimates, they use their combos now, but in the wrong way. It's all defensively, it's all backwards.
That was a weird one. I mean, Mundo, as I said, supposed to be tanky, but he's not really in a point of pressure. He's not really any kind of advantage going his way. So a little bit of an unfortunate misposition, and they were waiting for him in the bush. Misinformation and lack of vision is going to hurt you quite a bit. The Trova Nova, they're being sneaky today on this matchup versus Futbolist. Two-player push into the bottom side. Alistar waiting into the bush with the Kaiser also. Oh, Rekna, you do not want to do that. Instant headbutt knockup. Tries to jump towards the safety of his turret, but he is not safe whatsoever. And that's going to be an extra frag coming away of this Gragas played by Clemmer. And they really not much to say. Futbolists are just getting outdone. The lack of vision hurting them quite a bit. And with the next Drake coming up pretty damn soon, they got to be changing their playstyle right now, because otherwise that's two easy Drakes going to have Trova Nova, and they cannot afford that to happen.
Yeah, look at a vision here already set up around the dragon by Trova Nova. The Goddess Scuttles in play. And actually, during that pick, they actually had vision on both the enemy top and bot side jungle here, whereas for the side of Futbolist at that moment, they had only 2 wards, one on that blue buff and one around that red buff. But it was the wrong side of the red buff, which meant the vision was not there to cash that rotation. As you saw, it paid just in dividends to pick off that Yasuo.
Yeah, it's going to be very important if they can try and find those early picks. Checking on this one so far, we are 8 minutes into the game. 31k going away of Trova Nova, and Futbolist up to 24k. This is not looking all good for them as time goes on. Rekna, though, got to be very careful, because he is looking pretty squishy right now, in the sense he is not in any point of advantage. As next Drake is coming up, and we are going to have a small reset that was set up already earlier by Trova Nova, so they have already got the itemizations on board. They're looking for the early kill like they did earlier versus Mundo. Find a kill, then go and put the focus onto the Drake, which is what they're going to be looking for. But so far, Trova Nova are rather split, but the side of Futbolist, they're sandwiched up. Alistar going to go for the engage. Great. Oh my god, that knockup is insane. Yasuo tries to go for the ult, but unfortunately, Gragas ults them all away from each other. Is maybe not the best for them, but it doesn't matter. They pick up the Malphite instantly as Mundo extremely low, and so is Rekna and Keglayan. And now the tower shall indeed fall. That's going to be an instant dive onto the backline. Mundo also going down potentially. He's going to be burning down. There's nothing they can do to stop the dive composition of Trova Nova. And that might just be an easy Drake going away once again of this Lee Sin.
Never mind the Drake and Lee Sin. Look at the Rift Herald in the mid lane here. Going to be a second tier turret on top of that for the side of Trova Nova, and that's going to be the Rift Herald applying that pressure. Not going to, I think, get that third shot onto the turret. No, it will not. It will go down, provide that little bit of pity gold here for the side of Futbolist, because look at that gold lead now surge ahead. 12,000 gold in under 10 minutes, and that also comes just off of that early game pressure, the lead in of the early game pressure that come level 5, that Yasuo, that Gragas could provide in terms of knockups, in terms of the combos of their CC as a kit in total as a team. And you see even Kennen just being obliterated away. Another ult he has to be used defensively. The little electric boy has to just walk his way to base, because there's nothing here that Futbolist can do. It is just Trova Nova show here.
That's a flash and also a kick coming up from the Lee Sin. So if they want to look for a fight for an opening, this might just be the time for Futbolist to do so. They're just not able to find any kind of fights. And when you have a goal lead already this significant, we're just hitting 3, 2, 1. Now, boom, 10 minutes into the game, and the goal lead is of 11,000. 11,000 goal lead in 10 minutes is something that is rather stressful. This is a point of almost no return. Not there quite yet. It is possible to make the comeback happen, but comebacks mostly are based around CC combos, which we have yet to see coming out from Pigas and also playing this Kennen. Those two characters, I want to see them work in mesh together, and also the Varus Chain of Corruption that we mentioned many times into the draft that could be coming in pretty heavily. But unfortunately, we have not seen those CC combos, and because of the big dive potential of Trova Nova, once again, look at that, into the top side of the map, instant kill, double knockup, and there's just nothing they can do at the end of the day. It's going to be Reknad down for the count once more. He's currently got KD of, let's check it out, 0-4. He is not having the best game in his life, and that's going to be an easy Baron. They are looking to close off the game in less than 50 minutes for game number 1, and there's nothing that can stop Trova Nova to do so.
This all comes off of the vision control here, Max, man. Look at the amount of wards that are placed in that blue side jungle. 3 in that triangular formation, crucially around the entrances into that blue side, into that blue buff. There is no way that these teams, for the side of these players, for the side of Futbolists, can even realistically contest here. And I think this might just be curtains, because you see that 30th turret will go down. You see the knock-up with the Gragas ultimate, and it will be a beautiful one. Here comes a Kennen. You talked about that CC, though, but it's just not enough damage. The gold lead is just too much, Max, man, and none of them will fall down, where it's 4-piece for the side of Futbolist, and Corki just has to watch as his base will be in ruin.
Rekner, I was waiting for the 1v5 Corki. You disappointed me, but you still gave it his best shot, of course. And Futbolist will be taking the first L of this entire EU Rift Showdown. But it is fine. Trova Nova, we said it, they had an aggressive composition. And since minute 1, they were playing damn aggressive. Playing to their win condition. There's nothing wrong about that. In my opinion, that was just not a flawless win, but almost flawless win coming out from Trova Nova. There's not much wrong that they were doing in that game. So overall, big up from them. But now, we're going to be checking out a little about the KD, so you guys can also check out the builds on your screen. But, okay, Futbolist, one bad game, it happens, you know, we get it, it's cool. But, don't go for, like, exotic drafts right off the bat. We know we just got a new patch, but don't try, go for stuff that used to work in the old patch, you know, 2.0. Go for that kind of stuff. Here,